if anybody would like a welcome package, definitely please let us know. And we're being streamed and recorded. Got it. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Reverend Mara Rossander, and I'm the minister here at CSL White Rock. And thank you for joining us today. But as a representative of CSL White Rock, I want to recognize that I'm an uninvited settler on this land. And I am grateful and honored to be on the traditional and ancestral unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples. As CSL White Rock is committed to the vision of a loving, vibrant world that works for all, we want to acknowledge all the first people that help us and still take care of Mother Earth. So thank you for that. And let's just start with a quick little prayer. So as we take a moment, so I invite you to breathe in and breathe out, knowing that there is this one universal life, the love, the divine presence that is operating right here, right now. Knowing that each person here is one with that divine wisdom, the divine love, the joy that is all things. Today, we claim our joy, we claim our wonderful presence of right here, right now. And knowing that today will be a moment of time of inspiration, of uplift, as we allow ourselves to settle in and connect with our heart in this moment. So it is with great gratitude that I express these words today and allow them to reach out to the law of mind, knowing that right action is already happening. So I let it be, I let it go, and ask you to join me in saying, and so it is. And so now what I'd like to do is introduce our fabulous musician today, Theta Phoenix. I'll turn it over to you, Theta.
Thank you. Hello. I am going to sing a song from my album Legacy about transformation. It is called Butterfly, and I hope you enjoy it. We are children in this universe when we allow our innocence to lead, chasing butterflies across the sky, dancing through the fields. Caterpillar inches up the tree with such a steady contemplation. He holds a secret deep inside. It's the truth of transformation. And there you are, running through the fields, soaring with the wind, gliding on the breeze. You are free. Ooh. And when the time is right, the caterpillar weaves itself into a cocoon. We cannot rush the process, don't want to break her out too soon. Nature has a plan, divine timing is is at hand. For after the struggle you will see that butterfly flying free. There you are, running through the fields, soaring with the wind, gliding on the breeze. You are free, so free. And we are just the same as that caterpillar in this human game. We may look like an ordinary one, but don't be fooled. We are all children of the sun, waiting till the time is right to spread our wings, break free and take flight. And we feel the love, for it is what we are made of. So let the light break through, as one by one we all awaken to the truth. We are one. And there we are, running through the fields, soaring with the wind, gliding on the breeze. We are free, so free. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Theda. So beautiful. We're so grateful to have you back. Theda lives over in Duncan, but she comes over and does different workshops and sound baths and healings here in the Lower Mainland. And we hope to have her join us one day when we're all in person again. So thank you, Theda. And I think we'll put your information in the chat so that if people want to follow you, they can do that as well. So again, thank you. So I just take a moment and welcome. I think we've already welcomed our new people, but just again, if you'd like to send to a message and get a welcome package from us, that would be great. And just know that the science of mind is a holistic approach to spirituality, and that here it is a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. And at CSL White Rock, we have 4 cornerstone beliefs. So the first one is that there is one life. It is the source of all life and all things. It is the main thing that we are about. There is just that one thing, and it's all part of all of us. And the second one is we are spirit having a human experience. The third one is nothing outside of us needs to change for us to be happy. And the fourth one is we're here to walk each other home. As a spiritual community, we come together to practice. So the next month, we will be going over these 4 cornerstones individually and how that we can apply them to our lives. So you'll find that these fundamental beliefs are at the heart of our community and expressed through various forms and connections and participation. So today we have a few announcements, and Tu's going to put some slides up for us. So the first thing, just for everybody to know, upcoming events. Tomorrow night, August 28th at 6:30, we have our Creative Souls United, a spiritual creative hybrid gathering with myself, Reverend Tamara. It's an in-person and Zoom gathering. We're invited to bring whatever it is that gets your creative juices flowing, whether it's playing music, painting, journaling, writing, whatever it is that calls you. And for people who think, oh, I don't have a project on the go, know that we'll have a few things available for you to try out as well. So you don't need to have a project started. So we're asking everybody for a loved offering donation of $20. You can register online and we'll put the link in the chat in a little bit. And the second thing that we're starting on August 30th, Wednesday morning from 10:30 to 12, we're going to have the Infinite Supply by Joel Goldsmith with hosting by Reverend Joanne Lanning. So Joanne Lanning will be talking about this book, The Invisible Supply. You can register on our website and get the link in the Zoom link. We have 3 prices. We have a scholarship price for people that maybe just need a little bit of help right now. We have a regular price and a generous price. And just know that the generous price helps fund our scholarship price. But Reverend Joanne Lanning is a delight. You'll all really enjoy joining a class with her. Thursday morning on the 31st, I will still be hosting our early morning meditation. We've had a few people show up at 7 a.m. and just know that we just take a half an hour and practice together in our spiritual community. The following Sunday, September 3rd, we will be back in person and we will have Reverend Terry Shea back, and our musician will be Ivan Boudreau. And Terry's going to talk about that first noble truth that I talked about, that there is only one thing and everything is all connected. So and he will be also staying afterwards for a lively conversation. So feel free to come in person on September 3rd or on Zoom again as well. We have 2 fundraising options that you can use here to help CSL White Rock stay to continue on. So we have a new option, which is the Return It Express. So it's easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, collect your bottles in a clear bag. 2, take them to one of the drop-off locations. We have 2 here in White Rock. And 3, print up a sticker with CSL White Rock's phone number and put it on the bag and drop it at the express window. So if you would like the phone number to do that, please just email admin@csl-whiterock.com. It is my personal phone number, so just don't want to put it out everywhere. But if you'd like to do that, we would love to have you help us with that. And we're also collecting Nature's Fair receipts. You can drop them when we're in person, you can drop them in the box at the back and know that we get 3% of your total purchase. So thank you again for those things. And just know that coming up, we are getting back to full-time in person for September. Our next Zoom only meeting will probably looks like it's going to be Thanksgiving, October 8th. But other than that, we'll be back in person on the go. So we look forward to welcoming you again on Zoom or in person. So right now, though, I'd like to take a moment and introduce one of our wonderful practitioners, Georgia, to do our meditation for today.
Thank you, Tamara. It's so lovely to be back and see everybody on Zoom. So thank you for joining us today. I'm doing today a meditation on gratitude. Yeah, I have a lot to be grateful for right now. And it's also a natural theme for upcoming autumn season. Autumn season is when we're being grateful and receiving all the abundance of our labors of the summer. If you've planted a garden, then you're ready to harvest it. And if you've had your flowers growing and your plants growing, this is a time to enjoy that. So it's just a time for gratitude, and it starts from within. So before you could express gratitude in an authentic way, it's important to connect all the goodness in your life in your own heart first. And I have a lot of reasons to be grateful today. So just get yourself settled into a comfortable position that will allow you to feel relaxed and alert. You can sit on the floor or on your chair. Just be sure to sit in a way that your spine can be long and upright. Try to eliminate any distractions or disruptions during this time. And now when you're settled in, take a deep and cleansing breath. And as you exhale, soften your eyes. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or simply gaze your eyes downwards. Let's begin simply by bringing your awareness to the breath as it is, without trying to change it. Can you notice as you inhale, is it longer than your exhale, or vice versa? Try counting the length of each in-breath and then the out-breath, noticing the rhythm with a sense of curiosity. Now begin to even out your inhalations and your exhalations so that they are the same length. If your inhalations are longer, maybe 5 counts, then start to lengthen your exhalations to 5 counts. Spend a few rounds of breathing, lengthening the shorter half of the breath to balance the longer half. Just do that for a moment. So today we're looking at ourselves and our body and our human body as we're meditating today. And today I am thankful for my body and the journey that I've been on, an extraordinary journey this past few weeks. And so I decided that it was time to really notice the body and give thanks with gratitude for this body. So as you breathe in today, notice and bring your attention to what you hear. Without labeling the sounds, simply notice your ears' ability to hear. Give thanks to your ears for working so well, allowing you to hear everything that makes up this moment. Thanks to your ears for letting you hear the voice of your beloved, your favorite songs, your pets, nature, the birds outside. Maybe it's the ocean waves or the streams and rivers. Just take a moment to thank your ears for letting you hear all these wonderful sounds. Now notice your sense of smell. Offer your appreciation to your nose and your olfactory system for letting you smell fresh baked cookies or that fresh cup of coffee or tea or a baby's newly washed hair. The unmistakable scent of a campfire or dinner that's almost ready. Without your nose, you couldn't taste your favorite meals or breathe in the ocean air. Give thanks to yourself for your ability to smell. Take that long in-breath and balance it with the out-breath. Now to your taste buds. You offer your gratitude for your tongue, your mouth, for letting you taste your favorite beverages, the fresh water, and the array of food that nourishes your system. To your lips that are for kissing your partners, your family, your children, your pets. Offer your heartfelt thanks to the sense of taste and letting you engage with all the flavors in the world. Now notice what you feel with your skin. Today's meditation is all about the senses, and now you focus on the skin, the temperature of air on the parts that you are exposed right now, the texture of the clothing that is keeping you warm or cool, The delightful sensations on your fingertips that let you feel the electricity in your heart when holding hands with a soulmate, or petting your dog, or stroking the cat, or maybe hugging a tree. All of those textures that you notice with your skin. Give thanks to that today. That skin is what holds all of your skeleton and all of your organs and your entire body together. What a miracle. The skin that lets you feel the texture of the sand at the beach, sense of breeze at your neck, or a great massage. Thank you to this skin for helping you feel your life. And now to your eyes. Keeping your eyes closed, you can see waves of gratitude for these magical eyes for letting you see the world around you. Those eyes that were bright and shiny from the moment you awoke on this planet when you were first arrived. Those beautiful eyes for making it possible to make eye contact with others, your best friend, a smiling child, a beautiful sunset, and the community you've chosen to surround yourself with. All of those wondrous things that your eyes that let you see art and nature and beauty in all its forms. Whatever degree your eyes let you see, thank them for all that they do and letting you take the world in around you through the windows of your soul. Now take a deep breath and notice how you feel in your heart. Connect to a feeling of expansion in your chest as you let yourself truly savor the full spectrum of all of your senses. Your ears, your eyes, your nose, your skin. Your mouth, your touch, your taste. Now just let it go. Check back in with the balance of the inhales and the exhales. Now offer thanks to the home you live in, all the amenities that help keep you safe and nourished and healthy, to your comfortable bed, your fully functioning kitchen, the running water in your bathroom. Give thanks. To the walls that keep you warm in the cold weather and the windows to open to cool you off when it's hot. To the roof that protects you. Say thank you. Take another deep breath and connect to this moment. Now, if you open your eyes gently, look around and offer your gratitude for everything in your presence that is holding space for you to be in this meditation right now. Give thanks to your circumstances and livelihood, which gives you the chance to sit in stillness and be grateful. To your health and physical capabilities that make it possible to sit quietly and improve your awareness and your well-being. Thanks for the silence, the calm, the life, the love, the tears, the joy, and everything in between. Be grateful. With that, take a final deep breath and smile. Bring your hands to a heart in a prayer shape and seal the meditation with this gesture of respect and devotion. And notice how you feel. And now set your intention to bring this gratitude forward into your day. Namaste. And I just want to welcome back. I believe we're welcoming back our musician, Theda. Take it away, Theda.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I am grateful. I am grateful for this space to be, to live and hear and see this place of peace. I am grateful, grateful for this sacred community, opening my heart, my eyes and my ears to see the blessings, all of the blessings that are bestowed on this life. I'm grateful for the friends, grateful for the family, grateful for guidance and safety, to know I am supported and held in the arms of grace and pure divine co-creation, science of mind. I am aligning with my intention, oh, to live gratitude and grace, to appreciate all we have here in this space of experiencing through this body sensation, to drink in the beauty of this natural world, the mountains and the trees, the waters and the seas. I pray for harmony, giving thanks for the beauty and the power, trusting that this world is divine and wise. The wisdom returns, balance is restored, and here we are now, giving thanks for more, evermore, evermore. Thank you for life.
Beautiful. Thank you, Theda. Just magical how you're able to pull everything in together and just spontaneously come up with that. But isn't that just what we talk about here in Science of Mind, that we're all one thing, all one life, and it just ties together so beautifully. So thank you. And now I get the distinct honor to introduce a colleague and friend, Reverend Savanna Noelle. She's known to many of us here, and she is a speaker, teacher, and relationship coach. She started her spiritual path at the age of 16 in Denver, Colorado, at our Mile High Church. But Savanna supports people in their discovery of healthy, connected, and conscious, intimate relationships and worthiness. She's an ordained minister with a master's degree in consciousness studies. And she's been a guest speaker at events in London, Kiev, Vancouver, and Cairo. And she's worked extensively with our global outreach team of Science of Mind, both notably in Egypt and the Ukraine. She's also graced the cover of our Science of Mind magazine, where she was featured. And you'll find her living and playing right now in Seattle, Washington. So with great pleasure, I introduce you to Reverend Savanna Noelle.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I want to start by just taking a breath, just taking the energy and the feeling of the beautiful music of Theta that's so grounded. As Tamara said, this whole service and tying everything together. And as I always say, when I give a talk, oftentimes a minister will give me a talk title and I will sit with it and be with it, and then something else wants to be said. And so I told Reverend Tamara that, I think there's something else I need to talk about today, and it does have everything to do with passion and purpose. But what I've been learning over the years is that the wisdom, the talk, the message that comes through me is most often received in a way, in a better way, in a vulnerable way. People hear it and it lands differently when I'm actually going through it myself. And so I want to talk today about uncertainty. It's a conversation and a topic I've been having with so many people over the last few weeks. And it was really exciting that I got to be with many in your community at Asilomar at the conference in Monterey a few weeks ago. Canada represented really well. And that was super fun to get to know Reverend Tamara and practitioners Jill and Georgia better. And I just have to say that you all feel like a family to me. And so thank you so much for bringing me in again to share some insights, some wisdom, and hopefully to offer you some inspiration, some little insights, maybe some things to ponder for your own reflection. I have a book that I absolutely love, and I wish I could remember the name of it. I always say that and I don't know the name, but the author's name is Tama Keeves. She's written some really beautiful work, and she says this about change. She says, real change isn't about knowing the right actions to take, because really we all know you should probably eat kale instead of a pail of Ben & Jerry's Rocky Road. Real change comes from an emotional and spiritual readiness. It's about changing from the inside, becoming ready to take the steps that arise from our essence. It's only readiness that makes an action right. So I've been thinking about this whole notion of readiness. Like, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for the right and perfect things to show up in my life. I'm ready. And sometimes we want to push the river, right? We get impatient with what's happening in our lives because life has been quite uncertain for many. Where in your life, if you can just think for a moment, are you craving certainty? Craving to know the end, the ending, craving to know the outcome or the path along the way. Someone said to me once that where we crave certainty is where we are growing wings. So when we're going through transition, which many of us are in some fashion, I mean, we think about all we've been through in the last 4 years. It's this idea that uncertainty in any transition breaks us open to new life and new possibilities, new wonders. And I've noticed, and I'm sure you probably have too, that when we have an attachment to the way that we think things are supposed to be, or that they should be, or we think things have to look a certain way, this is usually where we suffer the most. So I want to explore the question today, what if uncertainty could be a great gift? What if uncertainty was actually our superpower? It is a superpower because it is the thing that shakes us awake. It forces us to get out of complacency or stuckness, this habit or routine, and it forces us into new ideas, new options, into possibly redeeming ourselves of something, redemption, and most definitely our growth. And I'm finding that change is the thing, although I don't love it all the time, but it's the thing that's helping me discover that I am more than I thought I was. And I've said to my friends as of late, I think universe, I have resilience down. I don't need any more experience to teach me resilience. But I ask the question, wonder sometimes, like, how is an extraordinary life built? How is an extraordinary life built? We take our frustration, our helplessness, the eagerness, our vision, our clarity with us in every transition that we have, and we then allow it to bring forward to us newness and a new identity. And I know from my life that I cannot stand or sit rather before you today without having all of those growing pains and the many iterations of myself that came before. I was thinking about a time in my life back in, I want to say 2014, where I was asked to speak up in Vancouver at a Center for Spiritual Living conference. And I was opening for the famous motivational speaker, Les Brown. I don't know if you all remember him, but he was like a famous radio DJ back in the 70s. And he used to know the Jackson 5 and Diana Ross, and he had them on his show. And then he took on this whole path of motivational speaking and has become a really incredible speaker. And I remember I was asked to give a 10-minute talk as his opener at this conference, and it was in front of 500 people, and I was terrified. I had just returned back from living abroad in Egypt. I had lived through this crazy experience of a revolution, and they said, "Savanna, you can't go over 10 minutes or we're going to pull you off the stage." And so I thought, well, what can I possibly get out in 10 minutes? Because we like to talk a lot as ministers, And I think about when I took the stage and what that was like. And I watched that talk recently, and I can see that eager, excited, passionate minister who, my cadence, I could tell my cadence was different, my nerves, my shortness of breath, I could barely catch my breath. And I could see myself then, this lack of integration. And what I mean by that is that the words were all there, but it's like I hadn't fully integrated everything that I was saying, although I lived it. And it's that part of integrating spiritual wisdom and maturing into our craft. We don't always start out as seasoned anything, right? And I have always had people hold the path and the truth for me, seeing what I was becoming. And so they cut me a little slack. That was almost 10 years ago. But I noticed that as we start to refine, as we go through life's challenges and obstacles, and we find ourselves in that point of really testing our faith, I find that my words shift, my energy around my words start to deepen, even in the last 6 months, and how I carry and hold myself. And I think that is the refinement, that is the great gift of, all of the complexities and hardship of life, right? I hope that you understand where I'm coming from here, in that something starts to deepen within us. So many years ago, I approached Dr. Michael Beckwith he's one of our great spiritual teachers and leaders within the New Thought organization. And I was at the Parliament of the World's Religions in Salt Lake City. And I happened to find him at a moment where he was by himself, which is very rare. And I beelined it to him because I wanted a conversation with him. And then I thought, well, what am I going to ask him? And I said, Michael, I have a question for you. And he said, ask me anything. Well, what happens when you're in the moment like that and you totally blank out and lose all train of thought? And I thought, gosh, I have this opportunity, and what the heck am I going to ask him? So I asked him, how do you prepare your sermons for Sunday morning? And he laughed and he said, well, I wasn't always this way. You know, when I first began, he's like, I had 2 pages of notes and I stuck to those notes. You know, he's like, I read from those notes. And he said, and then I moved slowly to a little note card, and I had a note card with everything on it. And he said, now, you know, 25, 30 years later, he says, I wake up for 2 hours every morning, every Sunday morning, and I meditate for an hour. I have a topic in mind, and then I get up and I give the talk without any notes. Now, not all of us can do this, obviously, okay? Like this, you know, 30 years of this that he has done, he's learned to trust so much. But he said, you know, Savanna, it wasn't always that way. He said, there was a moment where he was speaking in Los Angeles at our Founders Church of Religious Science, which back in the day was one of the big Science of Mind centers. And he said, you probably weren't born around this time. And I honestly couldn't even tell you. I'd have to go Google this. But he said that back years and years ago, there was this paper you could get where you could write on it and it like disappeared or something unless you put it under the light. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but I had no clue what he was talking about. And he said, so I got up to the podium and I couldn't read my notes. And he said, and it was in that moment that I froze. And I don't know if the lighting was off or what happened, but he said, you know, this happened to me in my early years where he would be at an outside event and his notes would blow off the podium, or he couldn't read the notes under the light. And he said, I learned that I had to trust myself. And he said, Savanna, you wrote the talk. It came through you. God wrote the talk as you. You can do it. Now, am I to that stage? No, I'm not. But my point in this is that success isn't always measured in the final outcome of having and getting the thing that you want. It's in the steps, right? It's in the steps of the refinement of our spiritual practice, the refinement of using these tools. It is in the becoming. It is in seeing how you grew from one phase into the next season of life. So if we think about this in terms of our uncertainty and change in life, you know, maybe it's a job loss. I had that happen to me recently, or the loss of a loved one, or it could be an overwhelming health challenge, or perhaps it's a divorce. We see that we have to dismantle our entire lives and re-examine the new us, the things that we thought were secure, the unraveling of the threads that held everything together to create new identities and new pathways. And if you look at it in the macro, we can see that this is happening in our Centers for Spiritual Living organization, in that we are now having to unravel these threads to create space for newness, for what does spiritual community look like as we move forward? What does the world, how do we impact the world and be more relevant in the world today? And what I know about myself and what I want to hold for you too is that no matter what, I am determined to thrive despite the curveballs, despite the circumstances, and despite the season that I am in. But sometimes I just find that I'm tired. You know, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. We want that chronic thing or that uncertainty to just go away, like the unknown to just go away. We want to be done with it. It's like we send out a prayer to the universe of the tired, of it doesn't need to be this way anymore. I want ease and grace, right? I felt this way recently at our Asilomar conference because I was working the event. And although it was such a joy to be on stage and to facilitate and to work the event, I was just tired. You know, I was laid off yet again recently from a job. And the question that popped into my head was, okay, am I on the right path here? Because this all has to be leading to something, right? Like, I just want to hand over all of my unknowns and uneasiness to someone else. Have you ever felt that? Like, I just guess I have to surrender now. And then I had a realization when I got home. And the realization was, there's this need that we need to be somewhere else, that we need to not be in discomfort or in pain, that we need to have the thing figured out, even though we don't yet, which actually created more resistance, which created more unease in me. And it's this irony of life, right? It's this acceptance, accepting the phase or the space that you are in, accepting and looking at it is just a season. This is the season that I am in because there is something here that I am meant to know and you are meant to know and become and learn about yourself. And gosh, if it could just happen in my time. That I think is the inner conflict, right? Is the letting go, is the surrendering, is the trusting and the knowing. I think in my dream world sometimes that somewhere in my life it was all resolved. I was slightly wealthy and famous, and I was impacting millions of lives, and I was traveling the world with the love of my life, and I was drinking Turkish coffee and eating my Parisian croissant, and I was roaming around the Louvre and the Moroccan marketplaces. And time stood still in my perfect world, and my parents didn't age, and climate change was completely reversed, and the entire infrastructure of social justice and injustice and supremacy was dismantled. There was a constructiveness, there was true discourse, there was a diplomacy that was restored globally between us, a shared economy, and this desire to ensure that the world was happening in a peaceful way, and that peace was happening. Like, this is like the dream world, right? But of course, life is asking me, and it's asking us to be here now, to be here in what I call the middle. Because right here in the middle is the journey. Here is where the answers are, the unexpected gifts, the payoffs that exist, the infinite possibilities that we keep talking about, and the opportunities. It's right here. And if we stop for a moment and think, okay, right here is where the presence is. Right here is where the good and the unexpected miracles are. Right here is where the joy is. Right here is where we free ourselves of having to be anywhere else. And right here is where we surrender to the not knowing, and it's where the growth is. And right here is where my peace is. And right here and now is the only actual here we have. And although I wish that it were not so, I have to consider that this right now being in the middle is probably answered prayer, because it is the exact thing that is catapulting me to change. It's the exact thing that is catapulting you to change. And it feels like the scariest and the most uncomfortable. But what if it were a great gift? We must look at the ways that we seek to control and manipulate and expect and seek answers to things where we are not asking the right questions to. So for me now, it's not about looking for answers. It's about looking for next steps, my next intended right and perfect step. So when I'm coaching people, this is always where we start, because people will come in, right, with their entire life story and their entire thing of like, here's my whole life. How do I figure this out? And it's by not only asking the right questions, but asking this one: what is the right and perfect next step for my becoming? And we stay there for a moment. We want to force the breakthrough. I want to force the solution. And sometimes it might come in the middle of the night. It might come when you're exhausted and weary and you have like fully surrendered. I know that's happened to me when I literally got on my knees and said, okay, whew, God, you have it. You take all of this, because I don't know what to do now. Sometimes it comes when you least expect it, because you actually weren't paying that much attention and you let something go and you decided to focus on the path of least resistance. So for me, in all honesty, I'm following the breadcrumbs, the pieces that are leading me to what I believe is an extraordinary life that is unfolding already, even though I can't see it. And even though you can't see how the journey is supposed to unfold yet, you take the next step. And then you honor, and this is the part where I think our trust and our faith and our patience comes in, is that we honor the season that we're in. And this is the life of having faith. So the changes that we see for White Rock Center for Spiritual Living, for your community right now, you know, all of the newness, right? It is for us. the tumultuous time we went through. I'm reframing it as this is for me and not against me. It's how what Theda was talking about in her song about the butterfly emerging. It's like we see the life cycles, happening in our life, different things completing. A cycle in the community completed from then until now, one iteration to the next. We had a brief transit come through with all the pandemic time, and now we have Reverend Tamara here, right, to create something new and vibrant and exciting with all of us. So the next step doesn't have to be an action, but it might be letting go of an old way or an old behavior. It's closing the gaps in relationships that don't serve us anymore. It's having the hard conversation that's going to free you. Or maybe it's just accepting where you are, even though you want to be somewhere else. Tama Kieves also said that you cannot plan an inspired life. You cannot force genius, but radical creativity, burning love, alchemy, invention, and the blaze of the wild divine do not fit into ordinary methodology. An extraordinary life is, by definition, not ordinary. So we have to be willing to be birthed from within ourselves. If you think about a paint by number set, you remember those as kids, we had paint by number set, which guarantees that you have like a replica of the thing, but it's not a work of art. I want my life to be a work of art. And I know that true change doesn't happen through some rote execution. Yes, we can say the same affirmation over and over every single day, but it's through rearranging and understanding our gifts and our abilities and then giving those away to the world. If I've learned anything over the last few years, it is less about ego and self-importance, and it is more about giving my gifts away to the world. And that means we have to shed our old skin, we have to up level to a new identity, and we occupy that space. And it's our ability to make note in the process that this change right here is for me and not against me. Ernest Holmes said, I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. So think for a moment to yourself, because I know we all have these experiences. How many of you in the last, year have felt hopeless or worried about something in your life? A health challenge. Maybe you're disappointed about something that didn't come forward. Maybe you have a business and you need more clients, or you're worried that your home isn't going to close. Maybe you fear a promotion or the dream that you wanted actually becoming a reality. Maybe you have felt lost or unsure of what is my next step? Like, what is the direction I'm supposed to be going? Or maybe you're questioning your purpose in life. Or maybe you're experiencing a grief, I know I have, of loss and so much change, a grief that you can't shake, or some sort of depression of a life uninspired. How many of you might have something in your heart that needs forgiveness? How many of us are dealing with imposter syndrome, wondering if the project we're working on is going to be successful? What I know for sure, and I keep reminding myself of this, and you as well, is that we are made of infinite strength and possibility. And even when we feel stuck, and even when we think we're in the mud and the throes of the tornado, we are reminded of this Bible verse, which is there, but for the grace of God go I. And it says in Corinthians 15:10, but by the grace of God, I am what I am. And its grace towards me did not prove vain, but I labored even more than all of them, yet not I, but the grace of God with me. So what comforts me is that we all deal with these things, right? We all have this thing of change in common. So we move forward despite uncertainty, and that is our superpower. I do not lack the right life for me right now, and you do not lack the right life for you right now. It is our perception and our reaction to what is happening, the lack of our awareness, that keeps us from moving. And it's scary because anything can happen, right? We know this. It's wonderful though, because finally anything can happen. So what do we do when we are faced with the familiar and the safe versus the unknown and the unpredictable? We have to, and this is where we come right back around to purpose and passion. What we have to do is forget what I feel is safe, even though we all want to feel safe, and look to choosing a life of meaning. And with choosing a life of meaning, my purpose, choices, there's always a risk. Any choice is a risk, except the right one. And it means that we might have to sit in the discomfort. And it is a deep trust in the goodness of spirit and the goodness of life that life always provides. So what is truly safe? I think if we were to look beyond all appearances and conditions, what is ultimately safe is the life purpose that is calling you. And it starts out as that quiet inner prompting. It's like the soft voice that is heard only in the stillness. And eventually it gets so loud that you cannot not follow it. It's like the neon sign I've seen before in my life that said, "You're in the right place." Or it's like a book falls off the shelf, or a song comes on the radio, or you open this page in the book that tells you you needed this today, right? Or it's the parking spaces that you manifested, or it's waking up in the middle of the night with some sort of epiphany. Your vision is always safe. It's pulling you along. It's that whole pain pushes, vision pulls thing. It's the thing that lights you up from the inside. And so the superpower of uncertainty means you get to know the things that move you. We move away from the things that steal our joy and our spirit, and we move towards the things that bring us fulfillment and passion and creativity and joy. About a year ago, I was approached in probably a 3-month period by 5 different Center for Spiritual Living senior ministers. And these were all ministers who were trying to retire. And it was really crazy how it all at once, I was getting all of these phone calls of, "Hey, do you want a candidate for this pulpit? Would you like to take this pulpit? I think you'd be a great fit here. We need younger energy." And I said no to every single one of them. And these were not small communities. These were like places I probably could have thrived, and they're huge and they had all of the things. And some of them, we would have had to start fresh, right? Because with the pandemic and how everything's happening, spiritual community shifting. And it was that shiny thing. It was luxurious. Like, Savanna, you could be this. And I had to trust something deeper within me, which was not the path that everyone else thought I should take. You should take that. You should take it. And I said, no, something else is calling me. And you've got to stay true and trust that inner knower. And you know what's interesting? A year later, we are now organizationally talking about the very things that I said I can't do anymore. And people are catching up to the idea of, oh, we've got to change the way we're doing ministry. We got to change the way we're looking at spiritual community and how we gather together. And I thought, if I had done that, I would have been perpetuating the very thing that is not working. And so I had to trust something deeper. Another way that the evidence of this showed up for me personally was years and years ago. I did a mock panel. It was probably 2013, I believe, where I had to sit in front of some seasoned ministers, and I was an ordination mock panel. And they asked me, "What is your purpose for your ministry? What do you want to do in the world?" And I said, actually, I want an online ministry. I want a global ministry. I want to teach this philosophy out in the world. And I don't want a brick and mortar community. I want to be out in the world, and I want to do it online. And I remember one of the ministers there, he laughed and said, "Online ministry is not real ministry." And I remember I cried leaving that panel because I thought, oh gosh, did I get it all wrong? How am I going to get through this next phase? And the fascinating thing now that we can see is that online ministry saved us during a pandemic, didn't it? It saved the entire organization to think that, that was maybe almost 10 years ago, that I still had to stay true to the inner knower and that vision and that purpose that is guiding and directing my life. And that is the same for you. You can't see the whole path before you yet, just like I can't either, but we treat and we move our feet, right? So just to summarize here, as we let go of how it's supposed to be, to stop our suffering, and we awaken ourselves to the unexpected good, the miracles, the expectancy of something greater. Change is how we discover that we are more than we thought we were. And that all of the changes that are happening right now are actually for us and not against us. And so instead of just looking for answers, we are looking for the right and perfect next step, because we cannot plan an inspired life. You can't force genius. And where we create and crave certainty, that's where we're growing our wings. So the mantra for us today is, I let go of my need, of the need for certainty, and instead, authenticity. I let go of the need to rush or to know what I cannot yet know. And I want to close today with a prayer, but I also want to close with one of my favorite Ted Lasso quotes. He said, "Fairy tales do not start, nor do they end at the dark forest. That's only something that shows up smack dab in the middle of the story, but it will all work out. It may not work out how you think it will or how you hope it does, but believe me, it will all work out exactly as it's supposed to. Our job is to have zero expectations and just let go." Thank you, Ted Lasso. And now let us go into a prayer now. Closing the eyes and just taking a holy breath. Allowing the energy of my words and all that has been spoken to just seep into your consciousness. To give yourself a warm feeling. For I know that the very intelligence, the power, the presence, this infinite life that spoke here this morning through me, is the very life that is within each and every one of us. It is the thing itself. It is the beauty, it is the wonder, it is the peace, it is the healing and the transformative power that operates within us in every moment, and it is guiding and directing our path, most especially when we can't see it. And so we trust the power of this now moment, remembering that in the middle, in the here and the now, is where we create all life, all infinite possibilities and opportunities, and that abundance is the very nature of existence. And so, because I know this is true, I know this for every single one of us, tuning in, watching in, listening in. And so releasing any sense of separation, releasing any fears, doubts, worries of how things are going to work out, we allow ourselves to just relax and be at peace in the space of uncertainty. Trusting and knowing that infinite possibility lives there as we move into expectancy of goodness, of joy, of opulence, of beauty expanding in our very lives. We trust it, we have faith in it. And we let go of anything and everything that does not align with that highest truth. We trust the path that we are on, and we trust the season that we are in, knowing that we get all of the gifts, all of what we are to receive for the next journey, the next phase of life. And so with this prayer, and the more I give thanks for this incredible community that comes together every single week, for the hearts and the hands and all of the people working to make this possible, working together to create spiritual community, to provide spiritual resources and tools and technology that allow us to be better versions of ourselves. We give thanks for this, and the more we give thanks for all of the abundance that is coming into each and every one of our lives. And we give gratitude for the gifts and the talents and the abilities that each and every one of us have to share to the world here and now. For it is essential, it is needed. And so with this prayer, I release it now into the activation of love itself. I know it is absolutely done right here and now. And together, let us just say to ourselves, Ashe, and so it is. Amen. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Savanna. And so now is a time to bring back our wonderful musician, Theta Phoenix.
Oops, there we go. All right, this is Light in You from my album Legacy, and I think it's a perfect song to sing after Savanna's beautiful, beautiful words, beautiful sharing. I know you're scared to be yourself. Sometimes this world can be so blind, but if you take the time to trust, start to open up, you just might find that you are loved. And I see the light in you, shining with everything you do. Don't try to hide it no more. Can you hear it knocking at your door? Oh, the door to your heart. There is something calling you. Show me what you really want. Tell me what you really need. Reveal all you feel. You will be received, and you don't have to hide away all the things you really want to say. There are others who have felt this way. You're not alone. We are the same. And I see the light in you, shining with everything you do. Don't try to hide it no more. Can you hear it knocking at your door? The door to your heart. The door to your heart. There is something calling you. Sometimes it's dark and cold and we don't know where to go, or we're feeling all alone. And every one of us knows deep inside that we belong. Show me what you really want. Tell me what you really need. Reveal all you feel. You will be received. And I see the light in you, shining with everything you do. Don't try to hide it no more. Can you hear it? It's knocking at your door. The light in you, shining through. Light, the light in you.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you, Theta. What a morning. Holy smokes, people. With Theta doing such beautiful music, and what a fabulous talk, Reverend Savanna. So enjoyed it. Wow, gave me a lot to think about today, and I can relate in so many ways. And I love that story about how Michael Beckwith, started out at a certain way and then developed over time. As we've watched you even these last few years with us, how your talks have shifted and grown. And Theta, the same with your music. We've known Theta for quite some time. We're just so fortunate that we get to come together here as spiritual community, that we get to practice together. We get to be inspired on Sunday mornings or through classes or through joining together in meditations or conversations. Where else can we get this kind of nourishment, soul nourishment for our life? So I want to just take a moment and thank each one of you for showing up today, each one of you for being here and walking the path together, because that is what it's all about. We're here to be together, to support each other, and to grow and love and be that fullest expression that Savanna was talking about, of who we really are. So I just want to take this time to acknowledge our loving community. And as you may know, that CSL White Rock, we are a nonprofit organization. So with that, It is that time to place our hand on our heart and say, I think there's a screen up there that everybody can say, I give from my heart to that which renews my faith and the perfection of my life. My giving supports the transformation of my consciousness and the unity of all life. So if you've been nourished here today and feel that gratitude that Georgia spoke about, that Theta sang about, and all the things that Savanna spoke about, I offer that you may want to make a donation to keep this all going, that we can continue on Sundays and continuing offering different programs. So you can either send e-transfer online, mail us a check, or when we're in person together, you can make a donation that way as well. But it's easy, it's simple, it's safe. But just know that each one of your donations makes a difference to this center and makes a difference to the programs that we offer. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone being here this morning. And I see Theta, I put your email in there, so that is great. And I'd like to bring you back for one last song, and just let us know if you're going to be around in the next little bit. And Savanna, we've got to get you back here to speak again. It's so uplifting. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been so lovely to be with you all. And yes, I put my website in there with all my links and ways that you can connect and listen to my music or learn from me. So let us really just feel into our hearts all the gratitude for this time together, for the gifts that we are able to share in this moment, being together here. Ooh, ah, oh, ah, there is a space, there is a grace, there is a space where we come together. There is a space where we are welcome to be as we are, to be as we are. And I know in this place we are loved and supported. All that there is to do is to be true to who you are, and knowing that we all are worthy, we all are deserving of this love. We all are worthy, we all are deserving of pure love. Thank you for all you give, just by being you, just by being you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks again, everyone. It's this time where we get to unmute and say goodbye to everybody. It was so wonderful.